So we'll do some introductions in a couple minutes because I think some more people will be joining, and we have a couple people who I did not see on my sign up list. So we'll find out about people. So that is great. Okay. So welcome. I am Nicole Reilley, and this is Introduction to Mindfulness Meditation. And I am studying with Jack Kornfield and Tara Brock to be a certified meditation teacher. And part of my training is to teach a couple classes. So we have class work every week, and I am a regular meditator. But we're also then doing some classes to help folks. So I taught an introduction in a couple months ago. So now we're going to do that again. So I am recording the class, and that is because it enables me to review things. I also have to share this with my teacher, and he reviews each class. So that's why we record. You'll only be on the video though if you ask a question. So if you don't want to be on the video, just let me know, and I can edit that out, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's see. Okay, everybody, let everybody in. Okay, so a couple things about Zoom is that if you're not familiar with it, it's really very easy to use. And the way to deal with it, if you have any problems, is to sign off and sign back on. That is kind of the very easiest way to do this. Zoom itself is usually pretty good, but every once in a while things do not come together. So don't worry about it. And also, if you have any trouble, since we're recording the class, I can share that with you as well. So this class will be a class that is on this day, Wednesday, from 10 to 11:30. We should be done before 11:30. That's my goal. But there will be some weeks there will be more questions, and so we may go a little longer, go toward 11:30, but we won't always go to 11:30. So let's take a moment right where you're at and take a moment to get a little centered and grounded in this time. So there's always a bit of energy and excitement with something new. So let's just do a little bit of a grounding meditation. So I want to invite you to be present in this moment. And if you're not already muted, go ahead and mute yourself. And take a moment to get comfortable, to feel where you're sitting, to notice the air moving around you and any sounds that you might hear. And if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. Otherwise, you can just lower your gaze. And just turn your attention toward your body. Let it release in your shoulders or your back or your hands or your legs, whatever there might be any tension. And take a couple deep breaths. I'm going to give you a moment now where I'm not going to say anything, just so you can turn inward and just take a moment to relax as best you can in this time. If you get distracted, don't worry. That's just how it goes. So just take a moment to just be with yourself in this time. Take one more moment to bring any awareness to your body And just notice how you're feeling today. If there's any tension or discomfort, if you need to move a little or stretch a little. Take in another deep breath. And then open your eyes when you are ready. Okay. Wonderful. So let me give you a little logistics and then we'll do some introduction. So we are a 4-week class, and it's great if you can be here all 4 weeks to experience it. I know some of you have already said you've got some things going on. That's okay. The reason I say it's best to be here all 4 weeks is because at the end, I will have a evaluation you have to do for me. And so you just would have a better sense of how I did the more sessions you are here. But since we're recording sessions, I can also share that with you if that is helpful to you if you do miss. Of course, it would be better if we were in the same room and we were able to do this. But I think this is probably one of those classes that it's just fine that we are doing by Zoom, because meditation is an internal experience. And so it might be nice for some of you not to have to, fight the traffic and drive and find a place and get here and all of that. It might be just kind of nice that you can just open your computer and do this over these weeks. The class itself will be 3 different things we'll cover each week. We'll do some meditating together so you get some experience. I will also do some teaching on some different introductory concepts. And then I will also spend some time in Q&A. So if you have any questions that you bring to this, that's great. I will try to have some answers, and if I don't, I will talk to my teacher and he will help me out with that. So let's just take a moment and introduce ourselves and say who we are. So go ahead and unmute yourself. And I'll just call on people, just say a little bit about who you are. It's kind of fun for me because I have people on this group from all areas of my life, previous churches, new people to me, people that have been my friends for a long time. So this is kind of fun. So just say who you are and kind of what interests you in this and all of that, whatever you like. So Michelle, I'll start with you.
Sure. So my name is Michelle Bussing, and Nicole was our pastor for many years down here in RSM, and baptized my children, and was with me when I was going through breast cancer treatment and diagnosis. So yeah, and I have 3 kids and a busy life of shuttling and teaching and all that good stuff. So meditation has been something that I've said I wanted to do for a very long time, but have never put it as a priority or as a practice. Never made it something that I would spend time on. So I'm excited to learn and start that for myself.
Excellent. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here, Michelle. Vicki and John, tell us about you.
What Michelle said, except for, not only was Nicole our pastor, but I also worked for her while she was our pastor. So, and then I want to just say that these last few months make it pretty clear that I need something that'll bring me down a few notches and bring me into maybe more positive sort of state of mind. So I'm looking forward to learning.
Excellent. John.
I'm John. Vicki and I have been married for 50 years, and we miss you, Nicole. We wish you were back. pastor now, but you were the best. Let's see. Well, I did some meditation that I learned on an overseas flight over the earphones,
Yeah.
but I'm interested in fine-tuning.
Excellent. Well, welcome. We're glad you're both here. Sean.
Hi, everybody. I'm coming to you from Madison, Wisconsin. And I have been friends with Nicole and Jeff for almost 30 years, a little more than 30 years. And she is a very, very dear friend of the family. And I hear you, Vicki. You know, generally speaking, when I try to meditate, I last about 30 seconds. And then I start thinking about how mad I am about a whole bunch of stuff. So, you know, I don't want the pandemic, the election, life to steal me away from the now and the joy and gift of the now. And so that is my goal for this. And I'm just thrilled that Nicole's doing this for us.
Welcome. I'm so glad you're here, Sean. Good to see you. Midge, I don't know you. Tell me about you.
Hi. Well, Sean invited me today to
Wonderful.
participate in this.
That's
Sean
great.
and I have been best friends for about 35 years now, and 36.
We're only 29, but we've
Yes, before we were in the womb. And she knows that I'm about ready to face some transitions in my life, from a very busy work schedule to retirement. And it won't be easy for me because I am very active, multitasking kind of person. But I know that meditation and mindfulness is good for me, and I want to try to do that. I've enjoyed yoga over the past year, and that has helped me to understand that slowing down and doing things more consciously is a good thing. And I've been United Methodist for most of my adult life, and so you know, the fact that you're connected to the church is a nice added bonus.
That's great. And where do you live?
I live in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Okay, in Texas.
So, yep.
How fun. Wonderful. Well, welcome. We are so glad you're here with us.
Thanks.
And Gina, tell us about you.
Hey, everybody. I'm Gina. Reverend Nicole is my friend and our pastor for Hope United Methodist out here in Torrance, South Bay, California. I have a very active mind. I had a very, very stressful job. I'm currently furloughed because I am in the travel industry, which, as you all know, has come to a screeching halt for many people. And just as a small note to Midge, believe me, you will find things to fill in those spaces in time. I stay pretty busy even though I'm furloughed. But yeah, the idea of mindfulness, just stopping and focusing on being in the moment. I kind of live in the moment. That's kind of me, but my mind is very active. So just to stop and slow it down would be a great exercise. And I wanted to participate in this.
Wonderful. We're so glad you're here. Good to see you. Kathy, tell us about you.
I'm Kathy Slotauer. I live in Valencia, California, and I've known Nicole for not quite a year through a book club out here. And I've been retired for 8 years, so there is life after your career. But I find meditation is something I've always, well, that sounds interesting, but never really took the time to gain a full understanding and practice it. And lately, I just find that I'm worrying about things I never used to worry about and getting angry over things. And I think it would actually make my husband very happy if I could take it down a couple notches. So that's why I'm here.
I love it. I'm so glad to see you, Kathy.
Good to see you.
Cynthia, tell us about you.
Good morning. I'm Cynthia Hennessy. Apologies, I'm dealing with an awful headache today. So if I look out of it, it's not because I'm disinterested. I've known Reverend Nicole from Messy Church Training. I was the children's director at Palmdale Methodist Church in Palmdale. And and we went on a trip to Idaho once and all that. So that's how I know her. My husband passed away a year ago. And so I sold the house and I'm up here in Northern California living with my cousin. Sorry, mostly headache, but and so I'm up in Northern California. So this is great that we're all over the country and we get to do this together. I'm really excited about this. And my cousin actually works for the VA with stroke patients, and they're doing a study right now on mindfulness. They're doing like a control group, and so she's really interested in what I'm going to be doing here. So that's it. I'm just at a point right now, looking for God's direction and figuring out the next thing. So learning to slow down and listen is what I'm hoping to get out of this.
So glad to see you. So glad you're with us, Cynthia. Karen.
Hi. Let me see. I've known Nicole since college, which was probably a good time for me to learn about meditation. I am thrilled to be able to do this. I'm in Northern Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. And really, I'm passionate about good health through healthy eating and healthy living. And so this is just perfect for me. I've played around, I've dabbled with meditation, but I've never done anything really organized and learned about it. And I know that meditating is the best way to alleviate stress, and that's what we need to be healthy and immune. And so that's why I'm really excited about this.
I'm so glad you're here. It's so fun to see you. So this is great.
Here. Yeah.
David, tell us about you.
Hi guys, David Schutz. I'm really excited to be here, that I have the time to do this. I am blessed, and I don't mean to make some of you jealous that mentioned, but Reverend Nicole is my current pastor right now at our church at Valencia United Methodist. So we're very blessed to have her. And I've heard a lot of great things over the years about meditation and the benefits. And for me, it's about being disciplined to do it. And I'm just hoping that this is going to help give me some more tools to want to do it more, and anything that can help, because I've heard so many good things about the benefits of meditation to your mind, body, and soul, and I'm excited about that, and I'm hoping to get some more tools and try to incorporate it more into my life, instead of just I do it for a little bit and then you know how it is. So I really want to try to make it a daily part of my life, and so I'm excited to learn some tools.
Excellent. Well, we're glad you're here, David. And Marty, tell us about you.
My name's Marty Smith, and like David, I'm very blessed to have Nicole be my pastor right now. I've been a member of Valencia United Methodist Church for a long time, and I actually did this class with Nicole a few months ago, and being the compulsive note taker I am, while we were doing it, I was busy taking notes, and I think I didn't really just throw myself into it the way I should have. So I asked if I could have a redo. So I'm a redo. I'm a repeat.
No worries. We're so glad you're here, Marty. And Maria, I see that you are here too.
Here I am. Hello.
Wow.
Well, I'm another one that's blessed to have Nicole as my current pastor, and I have tried to do meditation, but it's difficult. It's hard to tune everything out, and I just need some hints on how to do it better. We've got a lot of things going in our life right now, and I just need to learn how to live in the moment and block all the negative out. So here I am.
Here you are. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
And Judy Groff. Are you there, Judy?
Is her video off?
Yeah. Are you here, Judy? I do not. Judy. Well, and also Judy Groff is here. So maybe she'll be able to say something to us later. So, and Judy is my son Jacob, who's 26, his first Sunday school teacher. So my favorite story about Judy Groff is when Jacob was little, there was a puppet in the class, and Jacob got to name the puppet, and Judy told me he named the puppet Whiskey. And I said, I think he said Whiskers. I'm sure the pastor's son did not name the puppet Whiskey. Thank you very much. So welcome, everybody. We are glad you are here. And we're going to start off with a little bit of a talk. We have a couple talks that we'll do, one each time, about some meditation basics. So you can just know a little bit more about meditation and have a little better of an understanding of what we're talking about. So I want to start out by talking about the topic, what is mindfulness and why does it matter? So mindfulness is basically the human capacity to be fully aware, to be present, to not be overreactive, or not to be, checked out and not participating. Mindfulness is something we all possess. It is something that every human being can be mindful, can be present, can be in a situation fully there. But a lot of us struggle with it, right? We struggle to be in the place where we're at. Life is crazy, and we may be troubled in the moment to stay present because maybe we have anxieties, or we have worries, or we have distractions. So when we have any kind of discomfort in a moment, which could be anything from boredom in a moment to grief in a moment, whatever the situation is, sometimes instead of being mindful and experiencing what is happening, we will push away from the experience. So this is when we might overeat, or we might drink too much, or we might sleep, or we might shop, whatever it is, instead of actually being in our experience and feeling it. So the goal of mindfulness is about waking up to your own inner workings, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, how that feels in your body, and to do it with compassion. That's an important piece of it. So it's not like you just wake up to what's going on in my body and my mind and my thoughts now, and I beat myself up for it, like I shouldn't be feeling that way or thinking that way. Instead, mindfulness is about becoming aware of who we are and where we're at and what we're feeling with compassion. And becoming more mindful is something we could all do. We can all become more present in our lives, which means that we focus on here and now instead of on our past, or instead of on what's coming up. For those of you who are people of faith, the idea of mindfulness, I think, also connects to the idea of incarnation. So that's the idea that God came among us in physical form, so that the physical matters. It's not just, we're spiritual beings. The physical actually matters to God. And one of my teachers in seminary would say, you can only experience God in the now. And if you're not a person of faith, you can substitute that for you only experience life in the now, or this moment in the now. Meaning that it's about being here to experience what is, or we actually miss out on what is, whether that's our life or our connection to the divine or the people around us. So that's a little bit about what mindfulness is, and it's something we all have access to. Now, meditation is about looking at the workings of our mind, looking at our emotions, our thoughts. So becoming aware of it. So there are different types of meditation. Some meditation is mindfulness. That's one kind of meditation. But there's also meditations like you might focus on a candle, or yoga and walking can be a kind of meditation. Some people have a meditation where they have a mantra, meaning they have a word that they repeat. And one big form of meditation that gets publicity quite a bit is transcendental meditation, which is a whole training you go through and you receive a custom mantra to use. So there's all different kinds of meditation. We'll focus on mindfulness meditation, which contains a bunch of those things that I talked about, but it'll become more clear as we talk about it. But the easiest form of meditation is probably one you've all tried at some time, and that is just to sit quietly and focus on your breath. So have all of you done that? You've just tried to sit quietly and focus on your breathing. I think that's a universal kind of meditation most all of us have experienced in some way. An old Zen saying is you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day unless you're too busy, and then you should sit for an hour. So the idea is that it should be a regular thing, and sometimes when we think we're too busy for it, actually is when we need to give it more time. But all kidding aside, it's fine to start with very small amounts of time. Even having a regular practice of 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, and growing from there can make a huge difference, because meditation and the benefits you'll receive are cumulative. So if you could do 5 minutes a day, you would experience something out of that 5 minutes. If you would give 20 minutes, that's even better. But you would find benefits just in 5 minutes. But it's that consistent experience. So 5 minutes a day is better than an hour once a week. So it's that little bite-sized pieces. There's a book called The Urban Monk, and the writer of this book says that to sit consistently for 20 minutes a day and to do this for 100 days straight would change your life. Couple that with an additional 2 to 5 minutes of meditation throughout the day to break up chaos, and you will soon be feeling benefits. Now, 100 days is a lot. So we're not going to reach that kind of thing in this class. We're really here to talk about basics, to talk about what's actually doable in the life you currently live. So if the life you currently live, you're able to spend 5 minutes a day, great. If the life you currently live, you can stretch into 10 minutes a day, great. It's never about feeling like I'm not good enough, I didn't do enough. It's really about being where you are and experiencing that. So there are some basics to meditation, no matter what your practice is. And the first is to sit comfortably. Now, that depends on what's comfortable for you. You could sit in a chair. You don't have to sit with your legs crossed on a pillow. You could if you like, but you don't need to do that. So you sit comfortably where you are. It's also about noticing what your legs are doing. So if I'm sitting comfortably, it's probably a little more helpful if my legs are not crossed in front of me, if they're just sitting naturally and they're on the ground firmly. My feet are on the ground firmly. And your body, your upper body is straightened, but not stiff, not uncomfortable for you. Your hands in meditation are relaxed. Some people will open their hands in a posture of receiving. That works for you, great. You don't need to do that. But it's the idea that your hands are not grasping, but relaxed. Also, part of most meditation is either a softened gaze or closed eyes. Some people are fine with closing their eyes. Some people, feel like if they close their eyes, they're going to fall asleep, which may just mean you need more sleep. But you can soften your gaze just by looking down. Also, a basic of meditation is about the breath. So we mentioned that a little bit already, but it's about noticing where the breath is, where you feel it in your body, and how it comes and goes. And just being, it's not about a certain kind of breathing. It's just about becoming more aware of your body. And usually, naturally, when we become aware, we do a little more relaxing, deep breathing in that. And then the thing about wandering thoughts, everybody is going to have wandering thoughts. There is nobody who is going to do meditation and not have their mind wander. You have a mind, your mind will wander. Just notice that and be compassionate to it. The problem for some of us, though, is we notice that and then we become like almost triggered by it. Like, oh, I'm thinking about this thing. Oh, I'm not supposed to be thinking. And then that becomes a whole drama, right? It's just like, oh, I'm thinking, I'm planning, I'm doing that. Okay, I notice that. And then I let that go naturally. And then usually at the end of a meditation, there's a turning from being more internal and then lifting our gaze and looking around and being then more grounded. So I've done meditation since I was in 7th grade. I actually learned meditation in my confirmation class. And what I have done for meditation has changed over the years. So in a week, my meditation practice may be I meditate on a scripture, which is a certain kind of meditation where I may, read a phrase over a couple times and think on it, mull it over a little bit. I may have a meditation where I just focus on my breath. So that may be I just notice it, how it feels on my nose as I'm breathing in and out, or it might be the focus on my breath might be counting breaths. Sometimes my meditation practice looks like I take some time to be quiet and meditate, and then I transition into a time of prayer. Sometimes I do yoga and walking meditation. Sometimes our bodies just won't sit and be. So walking back and forth in the hallway and noticing my breath and focusing on how I'm moving. Another meditation I do quite regularly is to focus on the sounds around me. I like to sit out in my backyard and to listen to the birds and just to focus on the noises they make. It's a really wonderful way to meditate. And then probably the most popular way of meditating, and I do a bit of this, not as much as I used to, is guided meditations. So there are lots of guided meditations out there. There are apps that have great guided meditations. And for some people, that is their main practice. They have a couple guided meditations they like, and they try those out. So the whole thing I want you to think about at the beginning is it's okay to be curious and to try out different things. Some types of meditation are going to work better for you than others. And it's not like, guided meditation isn't as good as, sitting on a cushion for 20 minutes, right? They're all different and they all have things to offer us. So over these weeks, you'll have opportunities to practice a couple different, and you'll see that some of them work for you and some of them don't. And it's, just notice that and you'll just have more experience and like more the ones that work for you. Meditation for me that I've been doing over these years, what it's helped me do is it's helped me get a perspective to see that I am not my thoughts. So a lot of times we think that the things we think are who we are. And what meditation has taught me over these years is I am not my thoughts. Sometimes I have thoughts because I didn't get enough sleep. Sometimes I have thoughts because I'm just in a crabby mood. Sometimes I have thoughts because everything's going well, right? So meditation helps us get a little bit of a distance from our thoughts so we can see that they are not us. And so we can respond to them maybe in a more helpful way. Meditation has also helped me over these years gain compassion for myself and for others. So one of the meditations I do a lot is I just notice the thoughts I'm having and I name them. And I notice I will be meditating and I'll have lots of planning thoughts. And so I'll just go planning, 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 right? You get to know yourself and you get to have some compassion about how you're wired and then how others are wired too. So as someone who's been meditating for a really long time, I would say that the benefits are just really quite wonderful in giving some grounding, and that it's a tool that I have every morning to use to help me. Meditation has been shown to lower your blood pressure, to reduce your anxiety, to decrease pain, to ease symptoms of depression, to improve sleep, to become more present in your life, to become more loving and compassionate toward yourself and others. And it doesn't matter if your practice is perfect or not, you'll receive these benefits. So if you just do the best you can, and when you get off track and forget to meditate, you just start again and have compassion for yourself, you'll see those things grow. So my hope is that over these weeks, you'll find some simple tools to practice and that it will make your life easier and more enjoyable. So let's start with a simple meditation together today. We're going to do one where we focus on, and you get to choose either your breath and become aware of that, or to focus on a sound around you. So you might have a fan going, you might have birds around you, you might even just have stillness around you. So just pick which one you want to try. You could try the other one later. And we're going to get comfortable. So get comfortable where you're at if you need to adjust yourself. And this one is going to be a timed meditation that is not a guided one. So I'm going to set a timer, and it's going to give me we're going to do 3 minutes, so we'll not do something too long so it doesn't feel too hard for anybody. We're going to do a 3-minute meditation, and you're going to hear a bell as it starts, and then you'll hear a bell as it ends. I'm using an app that I use. And this will be just 3 minutes of focusing on your breath or on a sound in the room. So that's a really simple, and I'm using an app called Insight Timer is the resource I use because I like the bell and I like the little background sound. So go ahead and unmute yourselves and tell me what that was like for you, and what did you notice in that? What did you notice in that?
All right, it's David. I'll tell you, I didn't know which one I wanted to do. Was it the breathing? Was it the little sound of an appliance I hear in the background? So I went with the sound. And I found myself in the middle of that my thought had drifted to something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remembered what you said. So I just, said, oh yeah, your thoughts are drifting. I didn't name it. I forgot about that. But then I just came back to the sound. And it was pretty cool. It seemed like the 3 minutes went by for me. It didn't seem like 10 minutes or something like that. It seemed like it went by pretty fast.
Okay, good. Thank you. Anyone else want to share how
Hear
that
me
went?
yet?
Yes, I can hear you, Judy.
Oh, wow, good. um, for me, it seemed long. And I did, and it's the fan. And I said fan throughout most of the time to let the thoughts go. Sometimes when I meditate, thoughts don't come as much, but today it was coming all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Judy.
It wasn't perfect for me, but what was helpful was I did the breathing, and you have to breathe every few seconds. And so if my mind was wandering a little bit, the act of taking a breath made me remember, oh, concentrate,
Right.
and that was very helpful. So thanks.
Yeah, the breath or the sound basically is an anchor.
Yeah.
It's your anchor. And so different anchors are helpful for different people, right? But since breath is something we all do, that's kind of the universal anchor. But yeah, absolutely. Great. Anyone else want to share their experience of that simple one? Gina.
Well, I felt like the chimes on your app helped me stay more focused.
Mm-hmm.
I also do breathing when I can't sleep at night. I breathe in 6 times and breathe out 6 times. And usually that will put me back to sleep. So I count my breaths, and I was just listening to the chimes, and it did feel longer, but it was good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, that's just a very simple exercise, and it's normal and natural for the mind to wander, and that's why we use an anchor of some kind, because mindfulness is not about stopping our thoughts. Usually we will think, oh, meditation is about, having this mind that has no thoughts. Mindfulness is more about becoming aware of your thoughts and to not have judgment, to not shame yourself, but just to let them go and return to your focus. I think that that's an important piece, because a lot of times we'll think that it's a good meditation because I didn't have a lot of other thoughts. Not really. It doesn't matter. It's about really, do I come each day? Do I give it my time that I've decided? And do I notice those thoughts and notice them with compassion for myself, and then just go back to whatever my anchor is. So we practice mindfulness so we can learn to recognize when our minds are doing their normal everyday acrobatics, and then maybe take a pause from that for just a while so we can choose what we'd like to focus on. I think in a nutshell, meditation helps us have a healthier relationship with ourselves, and then by extension, a relationship with others. So I want to do with you now probably the most popular mindfulness meditation, and it's a body scan meditation. And so what we'll be doing is we'll be focusing on the different parts of the body and noticing them and relaxing them. And I'll say that when I started studying meditation, this was one I always skipped over. I never was interested in doing the body scan because it really kind of seemed, like a little pointless to me. But over the years, what I've realized is that it has the capacity to make you more in touch with your body, with your physicality. A lot of times we live in our minds, and what we want to do is root our experience more in our whole person. And so being in touch with our body helps us do this. And it is strange that, it's very common for us not to be in touch with our bodies, to be numb toward our bodies, to not notice what's going on in our bodies, that we have a pain in our neck or stress in our back. But a body scan is a usual one we do in mindfulness meditation because it's a guided meditation. So that can make it a little easier to focus. And then it's also one that grounds us more in our body, and that helps us be more present in our lives. So we're going to do this meditation. So go ahead and mute yourself if you're not already muted. And you're going to bring your attention to your body and close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, and just kind of notice where you're seated. If you need to adjust, just take a moment to do that. I'd like you to notice that wherever your body is seated, that you would feel the weight of your body on the chair or on the floor. Just notice how that feels, where your body meets what is supporting it. And take a couple deep breaths. And as you're breathing, I want you to imagine that you are breathing in this oxygen that enlivens your body. And as you exhale, you have more of a sense of relaxing a little more deeply. And now notice your feet. Start there. And if they are on the floor or up relaxing, just notice the feel of your feet, the sensations of your feet touching whatever they're touching. Notice if there's any weight or pressure or vibration, any heat, whatever it is you feel, just turn your attention toward your feet. And now notice your legs. And if they're up against a chair or the floor, notice any pressure that might be there or pulsing, any heaviness or lightness. Just notice your legs and how they feel in this moment. Now notice your back against the chair or the wall or whatever it is against, and how that feels. If there's any tension there that you might breathe into and release. And now notice your stomach area. And if your stomach is tense or tight, Just let it soften as best you can. Taking a breath, maybe letting out in a way that just relaxes that area. Now notice your hands. If your hands are tense or tight, see if you can allow them just to soften a little bit. Relax them. And now notice your arms. Feel if there is any sensation in your arms, any warmth or tingling. And as you breathe, let your shoulders be soft. Notice your neck and your throat. Letting them be soft and relax. And now notice your jaw. Letting your face and your muscles be soft. Now take a moment to just scan your body yourself and notice any areas where you need to spend a little more time relaxing and being present. A place where there may be some pain or discomfort or stress. And take one long, deep breath in and out. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes. So let's unmute ourselves and reflect on that exercise. How was that for you?
Well, I'm not sure if it's a good or bad thing, but I was getting sleepy.
I think sleep is always a good thing, David. So,
Do you find yourself sometimes falling asleep during your meditations? And is that okay?
It's totally okay. So like a lot of people will actually use the body scan to go to sleep at night, right? So when they lay down to bed, they will do that exercise and not get all the way through because they're using it that way. So it's totally fine. You know, if you're sleepy, sleep. You don't need to fight that.
Body might need. And when you say it's a guided meditation, it's yourself guiding yourself through. Is that what you're saying?
It means that the one I just did with you, I was guiding you through. But you can see how easy it is that you would do it for yourself. So you listened to my words and that guided you onto what to do. But because we all have bodies and we can all start with our toes and relax all the way up, we can each do that. But there are a whole series of guided meditations that are available to use. And since some of the meditations we will do, I will guide, and some of them will just be, you know, I'll give you an idea or an image and we'll look at that and we'll be silent. But guided, this body scan is often a guided meditation. You can find them on lots of apps. They'll help you do that and you'll fall asleep in the middle of it, and that's just fine.
The one app that you shared is really more for just timing, but later on you'll share like some of your top apps for other things.
Yeah, so every week you will receive an email from me with resources in it. And some of them will be files of some of the things that I've talked about or meditation I gave in the class. And some of them will be resources on apps to try. And some of you may already use, some of the more popular apps and want to share how you're using them. So I use Insight Timer, which does have guided meditations. It has sleep stories. It has courses. It has talks, so it has all kinds of stuff. And the church is working on an app. And when that's done, there will be a whole bunch of guided meditation in there for us. So other thoughts about that meditation?
There's a Breathe on your Apple Watch.
Huh?
There's a Breathe app on your Apple Watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Apple Watch will give you some resources. I love it. Okay. Someone else?
Yeah, I think for me, it's almost shocking how unconnected I am to my body. Like and I'm an exerciser, I did strength training, so it's not like it's not that I'm not moving my body, but when you say go to your arms or go to your legs, it's almost like I don't know how to do it, like they're not connected. Like there's my mind and then my body is just a completely separate thing, and I'm not really sure who's running it. So
right.
I had to really how do I connect? How do I do that? I don't feel very connected to my body. So that was interesting.
Yeah, this might be a really good one for you then, Sean, to try this out and do this at night as you get ready for bed, or do this as part of a 5-minute kind
It was almost like my body was like, no, we got this. We don't need you in here,
Yeah.
Stay away,
Yes. Yeah. And Judy says in the chat that she finds guided meditations easier. I think most people do, because it's easier to focus, right? It's easier to focus on somebody's words guiding you through. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a challenge in that my leg shakes a lot. If I'm sitting down in meetings and things, I'm shaking my leg all the time. And I realize that probably is some form of anxiety demonstrating itself. And I noticed that I was doing that at the beginning, but I was able to reflect on it and calm it down. So that was good.
Yeah. And it's, doing it with compassion. Like, oh, I noticed this. Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, leg.
Right.
You need to do that. That's okay. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Thanks. Anyone else have some thoughts on that meditation?
I realized that during my work days were always extremely stressful, and I had adrenaline going 7 days a week, all the time, worrying about work, stressing about work, and it's a really bad place to be. And during the body scan, you start to appreciate how much your body just needs to stop.
Yes.
And I do yoga, but it's a pretty active yoga. And I just was thinking about that adrenaline all the time.
Yeah.
And how this body scan was just making me realize I need to just stop, take a break, give my body a rest.
Yeah.
And my mind. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's, I think either we're all like, our bodies are all amped up on adrenaline, or we're all very disconnected from our bodies, or we're, I noticed yesterday I was like 10 hours working at the computer and stuff. And then I was like, did I eat today? Did I, right? Like you get so disconnected because we do have this focus here. And I think the body scan for mindfulness is so helpful because it puts us in touch with something like so basic, but so important for us. So let's take a couple minutes for any kind of questions about meditation as we begin. any kind of reflection that you have, and then I'll give you a little bit of what we're going to do next week and kind of how some other resources and things.
So I have a question. It was interesting, like you said, that you were going over so many different types of meditations, and it sounds like you mix it up yourself. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you have like a basic one you do every day, or how does it work for you with 4 types of meditation?
Yeah. So right now, because of just all the chaos, I've had to up my meditation game. So now I'm meditating twice a day. And in the morning, I tend to just do a very simple sit where I just focus on my breath. And if I have trouble with that, I will help myself by counting my breaths from 10 down to 1 and then back again. And that will be my usual thing. And I'll end that 20 to 30 minute time with prayer, and then setting an intention for the day. So,
Nice.
And then at night, it's more of a body scan, or it may be a more, if I've had a scripture that I've been reflecting on that day, I may take a little more time with that. But it's usually always a body scan and just trying to become more present to myself with another 20 or 30 minutes in the evening.
And in the morning, when you're doing that one in the morning, are you sitting in the same type place?
I am usually sitting in my bed.
Oh.
If I am too sleepy though, what I'll do is I'll walk before my meditation, and then I'll sit in the chair that I work in my office, and I'll do it there. So sometimes I'm not a great morning person. I'm not a good morning person. So I have to figure out how to make that work. So sometimes I have to exercise before I meditate, or I will fall back to sleep.
Nicole, is your meditation time separate from your prayer time?
Yeah.
How is meditation different and similar to prayer?
Yeah. So for me, I would say meditation is more about silence and space, and prayer for me is often about praying for others and the needs of the world. So it's got more of an active or a verbal component, where mostly meditation for me is quiet and wordless and more open. But it is certainly a blurred line, right? So if I'm doing a long meditation, sometimes I'll put in the middle of it. So the Insight Timer, what I like about it is I can set a timer to go off. So I can say, I'm going to meditate 30 minutes. I'm going to set a timer to ring every 5 minutes. So if my mind's going down a rabbit hole, I have a chime that then reminds me, oh, come back. So I might even, in a 30-minute span, 5 minutes counting my breath, 5 minutes just noticing the breath, 5 minutes of prayer, 5 minutes of listening for a sound, 5 minutes of a body scan. So you can slice it like that, so that it's a variety of things. So prayer's in there, but it's a little, I think it's fluid. Yeah.
Do you ever have any revelations coming to you, insights during these special meditation moments? Because
I have ideas. So I have lots of ideas, and I try to just say, thank you, Nicole, for that amazing idea. Let's go back to meditation.
Nicole?
Yeah.
You mentioned that you're recording these. Will these be accessible to us if we want to come back, like during the weeks in between and review?
Yeah.
And how do we access those?
So there will be an email that will go out. You'll get an email every Wednesday morning that will have this link in it, so you remember how to get to the meeting. There will also be a link to my Dropbox for the different files. So the talk I gave on mindfulness will be there. The body scan will be there. So you just have to click on the link. It'll take you to the Dropbox and you can download the file.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And the thing about all of there's so many good apps today that will give you guided meditations. So there's, I started, we'll get to my favorite kind of meditation is called loving kindness meditation, which we'll get to toward the end of our time together. I think week 3 or 4. And I first listened to it. It's on a podcast. Somebody had a podcast where they did it. So but I'll share those resources with you. So you'll see what's out there and what's helpful to you. So this week, all I want you to do is start very simply. So what that means for a lot of us is doing the body scan. So it's a simple tool. You can use a meditation, a guided meditation on a body scan, but you won't need to, right? You can just lie down or sit up and go through the parts of the body, noticing them, relaxing them. If there's pain, breathing into that. And just taking, if you don't even have to set a timer, your body will be the timer, right? You start at your toes, you end at the top of your head. Usually between 5 and 10 minutes that will take you, right? So it's easy to do. Just start this week by doing it when you get up in the morning. Usually we'll talk about how to develop a meditation habit next week. But if you want to just do it when you get up in the morning or do it as part of having your morning cup of coffee, that's fine. But we're starting gently to give you a practice, because I don't want you to be like, oh, I have to read all the resources, I have to do all the things. I don't want you to do that. I want you just to go, I will start with the body scan and I will relax. So it's very simple and it's something any of you can do. So there's really no homework this week, because it really is about just starting to think about it and starting with just a simple body scan. If there's other things we talked about today you want to try out, you're certainly welcome to do that. But next week we'll focus more on how to develop a meditation habit, and we'll look at kind of how that works. What do we know about forming the habit of meditation? So if you've tried to do it before and you haven't had great success, that's okay. It's like every single thing in our lives. It usually takes about 1 million times coming around at it till we figure it out, and then life changes and we got to figure it out again. So be at peace with that. So any other questions or concerns before we finish up?
You definitely notice a difference in yourself if you don't have, like, something happens and you just don't get your meditation time.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it now twice a day and all the stuff. What do you notice with yourself when it doesn't happen?
I notice I'm a complete shrew. How about that?
It's hard to picture that, isn't it?
Oh, man. I notice everyone bothers me and I've just had enough, and right? So it makes you more present. It gives you some tools and resources. So when you're in the middle of those frustrating situations and difficulties, you have a little more of a reservoir to deal with it. That doesn't mean, I'm never a shrew, but I think it helps a lot. That and pedicures, but now we don't even have pedicures anymore. So, but yeah, but those are the things that help me be a little more present, a little more loving in life. So, yeah.
I think you touched on something really amazing, in that it's having these tools that help us, when everything's fine and dandy, and life's great, you let certain things go, whatever. But then when there's challenging times and moments, if you have done these type of meditation and other things, and I really do feel it prepares you for those stressful times to actually be more present and be the person you want to be, and not so much maybe missing out on something because you were able to be in that moment because you did the work.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's
And
a
you
really
can and you can start wherever you're at. So if you're in that time of a lot of stress, and a lot of people are because of COVID and all the things going on, right? You can start right where you're at today. And even just, if in the next 7 days you practice 4 times and it's 5 minutes and it's a body scan, you will notice something. So just try it out. Just see how it works for you. And we'll work on it more tomorrow. So let me close us with a prayer. God, we're grateful for the opportunity to gather all over the country today, and in the midst of this time to just breathe in this wonderful breath and to be present in this moment and to just learn about the gift of life that we've received and how we might live it more fully. As we go from this time, let us go with hearts of love and with intentions to do good in the world to make a difference. All of this we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, my friends, I will see you next week.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Cool.
Thank you, Nicole.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.